Well, this week we're putting the spotlight on Alabama agriculture, and today we head to Auburn University's Bee Lab to find out how scientists are learning more about the dangerous decline of the bee population. Southeast Produce Weekly's Chip Carter has the buzz.
It's been about 10 years since we first started hearing about problems in the bee population, colony collapse disorder that was doing away with huge swaths of bees. There are still problems, but things have gotten better. We're at Auburn University at the Bee Lab to find out more about what's going on.
I'm Jeff Williams, and I'm at the Auburn Bee Lab with you here. In the last decade or so, it's really been brought to the public attention. The issue with bees, and particularly honeybees, have really been in the spotlight. And it all started kind of by this CCD, this mysterious disorder that was affecting bees. Beekeepers, researchers didn't really understand what was happening. We're still left trying to understand what's happening out there. I mean, even at a very basic level, here at Auburn, we're looking at the effects of a very common mite and how that mite, in combination with a very common pesticide, affects our bees.
We are doing toxicology studies, so basically we are looking whether commonly used agricultural pesticides are affecting honeybee health. And we are pairing that with the most common parasite of bees, with the Varroa destructor mite. And we are looking at the effects on their food glands, which are located in the head of the bees. So we are basically looking which stressor has more impact on the food glands, or whether the combined effects are the most prominent.
Christian, it pretty much looks like you've got a bag of dead bees here.
Today what we're going to do is we're going to weigh them out and then wash them with alcohol, and then at the end of 35 minutes in the shaking machine there, we pour the alcohol into the strainer. The mites fall down into the strainer, but the bees stay in the vials here. And so at the end of that, we count every mite and then do a calculation to find out how many mites we have per 100 bees.
And these are mites that have a negative impact on these bee populations.
Oh yes, they transmit many viruses that are pretty detrimental to honeybees. The alcohol really doesn't do anything except for just dislodge the mites from the bees, but the strips that are placed in the colonies out there, they should kill the mites, as we hope so at least.
So we're still really at the early stages, despite being 10 years in. I mean, it really, for really high quality research to be performed, it takes many years and a long time to really understand the question before we can move forward. But we're starting to get glimpses of that. We know, for example, from a honeybee point of view, that beekeepers really need to be diligent against this introduced parasite, the Varroa destructor mite. We also know that beekeepers really need to pay attention to the food, the quality of food that their bees are exposed to. So we have glimpses, but at this point we don't know how that will translate into actually colony health. So still much more work needed, unfortunately.
Interesting behind the scenes pick. Stay tuned for part 2 of Chip's Day at the Auburn Bee Lab. That'll come up today at noon Eastern.